Yo, what's happening people, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you a simple and easy way that you can make chord progressions for your beats from scratch. If you're new to the channel, then please consider hitting the subscribe button and click the bell next to it too so you can be notified every time I upload. Now with all that said, let's get straight into it. So the way that you actually make your chord progression is going to depend on the type of melody you want to make. For this example, I want to make a dark/emotional type melody, so I know straight away that I want to be using a minor scale. The scale I've chosen for this melody is D minor, and I've got my BPM set to 140. Now this method that I'm about to show you, in my opinion, is the easiest way that you can go about making chord progressions, and all you're going to need is the ability to highlight the scale inside your DAW. I do think that this is a feature that's available in most DAWs now, and for people with a bit more music theory knowledge, I don't even think that this is essential. So the first thing I want to do is find 3 or 4 notes that sound good together, and I'm going to use these as the bass notes. From them we can use these bass notes to build out the full chord progression. I usually like to start on the root note of my scale, and then I'll just let my ear work out where the rest of the notes are going to come in. So now that I've got these root notes placed down, I'm going to use these to build some basic triads. And to do this, I'm just going to skip a note in the scale and place the next note. And then repeat that, skip the next note in the scale and place my last note. Now I'm just going to go through and repeat that for each one of the root notes. Yeah man, so I like the way that sounds. I'm just going to press Ctrl and A to select all, and then I'm going to hit this ×2 button here, and that's going to stretch this out to make it 8 bars instead of 4. So I like the way that this sounds, although I do think it sounds quite thin and a little bit too simple. So I'll quickly just show you some ways that you can change that. The first thing I'm going to do is select all of the middle notes from each chord. And I'm literally just going to transpose these up by a whole octave. This is going to give your chords a more rich voicing and make the whole progression sound a lot more full and thick. So now I'm just going to zoom out from here, and the next thing I want to do is take all of the root notes. Now instead of just transposing these down, I want to actually copy them down, and you can do this down 1 octave or 2 octaves. I like to do it 2. Now this is going to add some low end to your chord progression, and similar to the last trick, it's just going to make the melody sound a lot more full. So at this point, all I've done is took some basic triads and moved a few notes up or down a few octaves, and we now have a totally different sounding chord progression. So all I want to do next is add some sort of counter melody to this progression. I like to go in and do this straight on top of my piano, however you can use a different instrument for this if you want. This step is going to take your chord progression and turn it into more of a finished melody, and it's also going to add a lot of character and rhythm to it. And there's very little rules when it comes to this step. All you want to do is make sure that you're staying in the scale that you've selected, and make sure that none of the notes that you're placing down are clashing with the notes from your chords. You can really experiment here, and you'll be really surprised how easy it is to get these counter melodies down when you've got a really solid chord progression to go off. So I've gone in on top of this and drawn in my top melody, and now I have a finished chord progression with a nice simple counter melody. And from here I now have everything that I need to start building out a full track. I like to build my chords before anything else because I think that they're the main influence of how a track is going to make a listener feel. It's very easy to set the mood of a song with the chord progression, so I can't stress enough how important it is to have a good solid chord progression to build the rest of the track around. So let's take a listen to the full melody and then we can wrap this one up. And now that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. Hopefully after watching this video, you'll understand how to take basic triads and turn them into full sounding chord progressions. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned anything new from it, then make sure to smash the thumbs up button before you leave. And if this is your first time here on the channel, then consider hitting that subscribe button too. Massive shout out to anybody that made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.